So Virgin Voyages have the reputation of being the go-to cruise line if you want to party. And while for some sailors that sounds exactly like what they want, it's easy to see why other sailors, maybe coming from other cruise lines, are a little apprehensive. Well, today on this guide to having the perfect night on board Virgin Voyages, I'm here to dispel the rumors a little bit. It's not just a party ship, and really, on Virgin Voyages, you can build the night that you want. And I'm going to walk through all the options on how to make the right choices to make the perfect night on board. So whether you're sailing on Scarlet, Valiant, Resilient, or Brilliant Lady, let's walk through the evening together and make the perfect night. If we haven't met before, I'm David from VV Insider, which is a website all about Virgin Voyages, the entertainment, the events, the food, special guides on what you can pack, what your room will include, how to disembark in the right way. Literally every Virgin Voyages question that you could possibly want is answered on our website and on our YouTube channel here as well. We're going to go all the way from choosing the right options for dining to kick your night off with the perfect bite to eat in the perfect location for the type of vibe that you want, all the way up to getting the perfect night's sleep, or if you want to keep the party going, what nightlife is like in the wee hours of the morning. So come with me as we plan the perfect night on board Virgin Voyages. VV Insider is the #1 resource for the latest Virgin Voyages info, guides and news. From picking the perfect cabin to booking dining, or simply just making the most of your voyage and saving money while you do it, VVinsider.com has helped thousands of sailors around the world sail smarter. Support our work by hitting subscribe and stick around to hear how you can get exclusive perks by booking directly with us. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to walk through each part of the night, starting with dinner, and I'm going to tell you what options you've got if you want to have a chilled, relaxed night versus if you're looking for a wild party night. And I'm going to show you that that's perfectly possible to do both while you're on board your Virgin Voyages vacation. And what's more is you don't need to choose to go all in or all out. You can mix and match these tips if you want to build the perfect night for you. And if you choose one of the longer sailings, you can use these tips to plan out a different vibe for different nights of your voyage. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to cover off some alternative options for some special nights on board the Voyages. So let's get started. First of all, let's talk about dinner. Now, if you've watched any of our Virgin Voyages guides here on our YouTube channel, and if you haven't, now is the perfect time to subscribe. We have guides like this talking specifically about Virgin Voyages and special ways to plan your vacation to make it even better. So make sure you use this time to just double check, are you subscribed yet? But as I've mentioned before, planning dining on Virgin Voyages is super important. If you need any advice or any help on booking dining on Virgin Voyages, we have a full video guide and we talk about it on our website at vvinsider.com. So I'm going to mention some things to do with dining reservations here, and you'll need to know those tips and tricks to make sure you snag the right reservation. But in general, when it comes to dining, if you're planning a chilled night, it's likely that you want to start with an early dining reservation. And it's also a really great way to make sure that the restaurant in general is a little bit quieter. And also the vibe and the atmosphere of the restaurant is really important when it comes to shaping your evening ahead. So there are many restaurants to choose from on board Virgin Voyages, but the ones that have more of a chilled vibe include The Wake, which is the steakhouse on board, Extra Virgin, which is the Italian restaurant on board, and the Test Kitchen, which is the tasting menu style experience. Each of these three restaurants have a really chilled and sophisticated vibe, which is a really good way to start a night which is going to be lower in energy. Perhaps something that you could book if you're planning a big shore excursion on that day, for example. Somewhere to take your time and unwind. Getting an earlier reservation also means that when you decide to retire from dinner, you'll also have the best availability to find some space for you to sit down for your after dinner drinks in one of the various bars on the ship. It also means that you're not rushing around if you decide to go to one of the headline shows later on. In general, when you decide to dine a little earlier, the crowd and the vibe of the people that are also choosing to dine earlier is more relaxed and chilled as well. So that covers off the chilled side of dinner. What if you're looking to get the party started? Well, the first thing to mention is that you don't need a dinner reservation at all if your goal of that night is just to have a really good time. So if you're deciding to just have a few drinks and maybe just grab a snack or two, you might want to start the night off in the pizza place or the galley. Both those options will give you a really casual and fun start to the evening, without having to worry about reservations or getting waited on. You can just show up and everyone can decide to eat what they want. But if you are looking for a proper dinner to go along with your party night, well, here's a good couple of options for you. One of the best ways to get the party started, in my opinion, is to go along to Gunbae. Gunbae is the Korean barbecue restaurant on board each of the 4 Virgin Voyages ladyships. This seating is arranged family style around a Korean barbecue where the main part of the meal is cooked in front of your very eyes on the grill in front of you. Not only is this a really fun and relaxed vibe, it's also a really good way to meet some new people and share a drink with them. But one of the really cool things about Gunbae and what makes it a great way to get a party started is that the Gunbae servers will actually start a drinking game with you. And this drinking game is presented with a shot of soju, and that shot of soju is free, so you can play the drinking game without affecting your bar tab or your sailor loot. The rules of the game are really simple and they will be explained at the time, but in general it's just a little bit of fun to get the party started. And a really good way to get everyone in a relaxed mood ready to dine. Also, if you're in a party spirit, Gunbae is a great place to try some cocktails because they're all designed with soju in mind. So it's something a little bit different if you're wanting to try some new beverages. One other option that you've got if you're looking for a more party vibe during dinner is Pink Agave. This is an upscale and sophisticated Mexican restaurant with some really delicious menu options. And again, you have those fantastic crafted cocktails to go along with dinner as well. So you have things like mezcal, tequila-based cocktails, margaritas, and even a cocktail with actual crickets in it if you're feeling daring. The mood and the vibe in Pink Agave is perfect if you're starting a party night. It's really low lighting and really fun Latin music will be playing as well. And if you're lucky enough, you may coincide with an event called Pink Agave After Dark. This is where if you book one of the later time slots, then Pink Agave is actually brought to life with a live DJ set with Latin music. And it really elevates the experience into a much more party and communal vibe. It is worth noting that both Gunbae and Pink Agave have a smaller capacity than most of the other restaurants. So if you're looking to get booked into these, make sure you follow our guides and tips on booking dining, either on the YouTube channel or on the website, to make sure you snag the dining reservation that you need. Now, with all of that being said, I've presented 2 extremes there, a chill and a party vibe. The good thing here is that with all of these restaurants is that the vibe is totally up to you. This is not an exact science. You can very easily have a very chilled and relaxed meal at those more lively restaurants if you decide to do that. It really just depends on the energy that you yourself and your party bring into the restaurant. We would, of course, always encourage everyone to just be respectful of others. If you're in a bit of a party mood, that is great. Just make sure that you don't disturb any of your fellow diners wherever you are. Now, moving away from dinner, what do we do after that? So you've finally had your dinner. Now you're probably looking for somewhere to sit and digest. Well, there are tons of different options available to you in the form of different bars on board. And again, each of these bars have a very unique environment to them. So if you're looking for a chill vibe, I have 2 recommendations for you. The first one is Sip Lounge. Sip Lounge is located forward of Deck 7, which is a little bit of a walk from the majority of the restaurants, but maybe the walk will do your digestion good. Sip Lounge is all about champagne. You'll see around the exterior of the Sip Lounge all of these oversized Moet et Chandon bottles. And it is a really good place to have a more sophisticated beverage. The music in here is more subdued. So you may hear classical music during afternoon tea. You may hear jazz music in the evenings. And there is a really nice sophisticated atmosphere when you're served your beverages. All of the beverages are served in lovely glass and stemware, and the cocktails are garnished to perfection. Even if you ask for a soft drink in Sip Lounge, it's presented in a really lovely way. And of course, it's free because it's on Virgin Voyages. You don't pay for those fountain beverages. If you're looking for still a chilled vibe, but not quite as sophisticated, then head to the back of the ship and head to the dock house and, weather permitting, the dock. So these are 2 interconnected venues which have the same vibe whether you're inside or out. If it's a nice warm night, it might be nice just going out onto the dock to soak up maybe the sunset or the nighttime air, and just a really nice place to sit and unwind. There's very low level chilled music out playing on the dock, and that vibe is also brought inside when you enter the dock house. which, as I say, it's an interconnected venue. So it tries to bring that natural, organic feeling that you have outside inside. So you're going to see a lot of indoor plants. You're going to see a lot of soft furnishings. You're going to see a lot of natural elements like wicker furniture and lovely artwork and natural woods. And with that being said, although it's a less sophisticated vibe than Sip Lounge, it's still a very nice, elevated and luxurious space to be in. Now, it's worth mentioning, depending on the time of night, both Sip Lounge and the Doghouse may have live music playing. And I'm going to come on to live music in just a moment. But the live music that you see in these spaces are often tuned to the type of vibe that these spaces are. So in the earlier evening after dinner, it's likely that the type of music that you'll see in here is sort of singer-songwriter guitar style music. It's not generally going to be a big band with drums and guitars. It's going to be much more of a laid back sort of vibe. So if you're on the chill end of the spectrum, what better way to start your chilled evening than to sit with a lovely drink and enjoy some live, chilled, laid back music? It certainly sounds good to me. So moving over to the more party style. So we're a little bit later in the evening because we've made our later dining reservation. So we've got a little bit more to choose from when it comes to live entertainment. So it could be at this point that you have the option to go along to one of the headline shows. And really here is where you're going to notice the difference between the different ships and what's available to you. Each of the Virgin Voyages ships have a different lineup for their headline shows. And this is constantly evolving. So if you want the latest information on what's available on your ship, head over to vvinsider.com and click on ships in the menu. From there, you'll be able to see the different events that are available on board your particular sailing. But staying with the chilled vibe, a couple of the headline shows on some of the ships are actually perfectly attuned with this much more chilled and laid back experience. So just a couple of mentions. If you're on Brilliant Lady, you'll be able to see Dual Reality. Dual Reality is a really special performance that's based around the story of Romeo and Juliet, and it involves circus performers and acrobatics. It's a really fantastic show, but again, the vibes are a little bit more chilled and laid back. Certainly the things that you'll see in this show are very high octane and high adrenaline, but it's certainly not a party vibe for sure. You can sit back, relax and enjoy. Another more chill vibe show would be something like The Mind Mangler on Resilient Lady, which is a comedy style show from the producers of The Play That Goes Wrong. This is a show that has very British humour in there, and it is very much a case of just sit back, relax and enjoy the show, which is perfect for a chilled evening. But on the other side of the spectrum, you do have some much more high energy shows as well. So sticking with Resilient Lady and now on Scarlet Lady, you have a show called Persephone, which is a sort of a dance and party show that's inspired by Greek mythology. This also includes acrobatics and circus performers, but in this instance, it's set to much more high energy music. You're actually standing while you're watching this show and the action happens all around you. It's one of my absolute favorite shows. And if you're feeling like you're in a party spirit, great. But actually it's something that you can enjoy even if you want to lean against one of the walls at the back. It's entirely up to you. The dancing, the vocals and the acrobatics will mean that you're going to have a great time regardless of how you approach it. Then as well on Scarlet Lady, you have a show called Booked, a Lola's Library story, which is a sat down production show, but the energy and the vibes of the performance are a lot more upbeat and energetic. Now, there are so many pieces of entertainment and shows that I couldn't possibly go through every single option on this video. Head over to vvinsider.com and take a look at the events. It's in the nav menu, click events, and you'll be able to see all of the different shows. Have a read through our different synopsis and summaries and decide what the type of show that you would like to go and see. And maybe that will help you decide which ship you would prefer to sail on when you're making your next booking. And talking of bookings, we at vvinsider.com about a year ago launched a way to book your Virgin Voyage through our website. It's really, really easy to do, and it's one of the easiest ways to search for your next Virgin Voyage. If you head over to our website and click the Book Voyage button, you can see all the benefits of booking with us instead of booking direct. There are tons of extra perks, but on top of that, you'll be helping support the work that we do here at VV Insider, which namely is to get all of this incredible information out to sailors around the world free of charge. So if you're planning on booking your Virgin Voyage anyway, it doesn't cost you any more to run that through our website, click Book Voyage, and you'll be connected with us. You can still manage your own booking on the website. The only difference is you'll be getting all of our incredible perks. You may also get some extra sailor loot, which is some onboard credit, but also you'll be helping support the work that we do. So it would help us out a great deal. So keep that in mind. So right now you've had your dinner, you've also had your post-dinner drink, or you've seen the headline show. What is next? Well, the next big thing in the lineup will likely be whatever club night or experience is on in the evening. But in between that time, there's a little time for you to go and explore and find the vibe that you really want. So away from the headline shows that are developed by Virgin Voyages, around the ship, there are also a decent number of different guest artists available for you to enjoy each evening. These guest artists, in our experience, are some of the best across different cruise lines. Virgin Voyages really know what they're doing when they're hiring these fantastically talented people in. And they offer a huge variety of different styles of live music. Generally, you're going to get a full spectrum from singer-songwriter style performers. Then, of course, you have the live band as well. Now, of course, each of these different styles of music genre will appeal to different types of people. So again, if you're looking for a more chilled style experience when you're on board, you may go off and look for that sort of singer-songwriter music. And as I mentioned before, the more chilled style acts are generally going to be hosted both in the SIP lounge and in the dock. If you're looking for something a little bit more punchy and a little bit more party, you might want to go down to On the Rocks. On the Rocks is the biggest bar on board the ship, and that is right at the bottom of the roundabout, which is the atrium style area on the ship. This is a really large space, and it has a large performance area as well. And what you'll notice is generally it's set up ready for a live band. So there'll be a drum kit, guitars, keyboard already there, ready to rock and roll. This is where the party will begin. So there'll be a live band set on maybe around sort of 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And those that have started that sort of party vibe will be really enjoying the music. And you might even find a few people up and dancing at this point. This is a really good place to sit and have a drink with that more party style atmosphere before the club nights and the rest of the entertainment opens up later on in the evening. It's also a really good place if you just want to sit and enjoy the live music yourself. You don't have to be in that party spirit to enjoy the live music. There are plenty seats further away from the stage where you can sit back and relax. And really that plays into that spectrum I'm talking about, where you can decide to go all in, or you can decide to sit back and chill, and you can mix and match as much as you like. Now, as the later night approaches, this is where those vibes shift a little bit more. So if you're still looking for those chill vibes, you might want to stick around in On the Rocks or SIP Lounge or the dock. But for those that want to bring the party spirit, you might want to head at this point to the Manor. The Manor is the nightclub on board each of the Virgin Voyages ships. And this is where the club will get started, normally around 11 o'clock. And what's presented in the Manor will really depend on which ship that you're on, but also what night of the voyage it is. You will have to check the lineup in the Virgin Voyages app to see exactly what is on that evening in the Manor. You might see that there's a special themed club night on that night in the Manor. And these are the big parties that Virgin Voyages have become known for. And the theming and the programming of these parties are really, really good. And the Happenings cast get involved in many of these club nights. If you're looking for a full list of these club nights, head over to vvinsider.com and click on event. But just to give you an example, you may see on the lineup that you've got Club Rubik's. This is a show that's on both Resilient Lady and Scarlet Lady. And this is all themed around the 1980s. And this is a really fun night that a lot of people participate in, not only going along to it and having a great time, but also dressing up for it as well. This is a great opportunity to don your sweatbands, your neon, your big wigs, and your shoulder pads and have a really fun 80s experience. But if you're not sailing on Resilient and Scarlet, you may be on Brilliant Lady, where you have a club night called Electric, which is all around neon and bright colours. Think UV reflective lighting, think body paint. Or you might be on Valiant Lady and there's Club Caliente, which is a night inspired by Latin music. Club Caliente is available on Scarlet Lady as well. Or there's an event called We Fancy, which is a golden glittering style party where everyone is encouraged to wear shimmering and sparkling gold themed outfits. We Fancy started on Resilient Lady and is now available on Valiant Lady as well. And regardless of which ship you're on, generally on the first night, you will have the PJ party where people are encouraged to come along dressed in PJs. And there's a fun slumber party style vibe where there's music from the 90s and the noughties. This is just a very quick taste of those type of themed events that might be happening later on in the evening. And the reason why I mention it is because you can really approach these from both of those angles. You can go into those events with a really chilled type approach where maybe you're not dressing up and it's perfectly fine. You might not want to dress in glitter and gold to go to We Fancy. You might not want to wear your PJs for PJ party because you feel a little silly. It's not a problem. You can still go along. Nobody is policing this situation. You can go along and just enjoy a drink and watch other people having fun and being silly. It's entirely up to you. Alternatively, if you're looking for a more party style vibe, you might want to go all in. So maybe you want to arrange with your friends to go in some sort of group style costume. So we've seen people on the 80s party go in Ghostbuster costumes, for example. We've seen people really commit to PJ party by wearing onesies. Again, I can't say it enough, but the vibe is really entirely up to you. You can approach these evenings just how you like to. And that's really the essence of Virgin Voyages, is that you're not dictated how to have fun. It's up to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to go out and be silly and have a party? Or do you want a more relaxed vibe and sit back and maybe watch other people do that? But have no fear, if you want to opt out of these themed or club nights yourself, you might want to retreat back to On the Rock, where there will still be live music playing until the early hours. This is a really good option if you find the type of music in the themed event not up to your liking, or if you've had enough of live music and partying, maybe you take yourself up to the Sip Lounge or the Dockhouse to just have a few drinks amongst friends in a quiet environment. Again, the choice is absolutely up to you. You will have that choice on every night of your voyage. Now, a question we get asked all the time is, when does this all finish? If you stayed out this long, you might be feeling a little bit tired when it gets to around 2 or 3 a.m. What time do things close? Well, generally the Manor will stay open as long as people are still having fun. So if there is a decent number of people still on the dance floor ordering from the bar, they will keep the Manor open. But as soon as they start to see that the dance floor is being emptied out and the bar isn't as busy as it was, they will make the decision to bring the lights up and close the party down. This will generally depend on the vibe of the people that are on board your particular sailing. So what we found in the past is when we've done a longer sailing with maybe a slightly older demographic, so for example a transatlantic crossing, the club does finish a little bit earlier simply because there aren't as many people on that party end of the spectrum who are wanting to keep the party going until later. Conversely, if you're on one of the shorter sailings out of Miami, generally people are there for a really hard weekend and they want to go for it, so the party will stay open longer. So depending on the type of vibe that you want for your sailing, maybe have a look at the type of itinerary you're going on and think about the type of other people that will be going on that sailing as well. Now, when the party does peter out eventually, there are a few different options open to you. Generally, the casino bar is the bar that's going to be open the latest. So we've known sometimes if the Manor has been particularly fun and you find a group of friends, they will generally congregate at the casino bar and still share another couple of drinks before heading to bed. Again, they have a similar type of closing policy where if there's not that many people there, they will start to close the bar down. So just keep that in mind. Alternatively, if you're looking for a late night snack, if it's before 2 a.m, you'll still be able to go to the pizza place and grab yourself a freshly baked pizza, or you can head up to the galley for the all-day breakfast. The galley is Virgin Voyages' alternative to the buffet. It's generally open 24/7, and you can get breakfast items at any time of the day. So it's not unusual to see people that have come out of the club at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning having some breakfast before heading to bed. We've seen conversations at the galley go well into the early hours after a good night in the club. So if you are hunting around for some extra fun by the end of the night, maybe head up to the galley and see who's around. So that brings you to the end of your evening. The next day is a new day and you can decide to have a completely different evening the next night if you want. If you went really hard on one night, maybe you want a chill night the next. It's entirely up to you. But let's talk a little bit about some extra special bonus nights where all of my previous tips really don't apply. And these are two different types of evenings. One is if you've decided to participate in a dinner cabaret show. There are 4 different types of dinner cabaret shows, and these are dependent to which ship you're on. And 2 of these are special for a reason which I'll mention in just a moment. So let's kick things off by talking about Scarlet Lady. In Scarlet Lady, you have the option to go along to Lol's Supper Club. This is where your dinner and a comedy show are included as one event. This is set up in the Manor, and the food will be brought to you in between different comedy sets. If you're on Valiant Lady, you have It's a Ship Show, which is a cabaret style review with a live band and some live vocal performances. And there are different variety acts that come on stage as you're eating. So this could be anything from tap dancing to rollerblading to juggling to comedy. It really depends on who Virgin Voyages have hired for that particular performance. So this is constantly changing. Both those two options, so Scarlet Lady, Valiant Lady, which is Lol's Supper Club, and It's a Ship Show, are free of charge. You simply book it on your app. But it does mean that if you're ordering drinks, you have to pay for each of the drinks individually, just like you would with any other dinner. The other two ships, so that would be Resilient Lady and Brilliant Lady, have different options entirely. So starting with Resilient Lady, you have Another Rose, which is a theatrical experience that's led with fantastic vocals and dancing, where your dinner is served in a very themed and experience-led environment. It's a really immersive performance, and rather than ordering each drink individually, the drinks are brought to your table automatically, and your sparkling rosé wine is continuously topped up as you're watching the show. Then over on Brilliant Lady, you have a brand new show called Up With a Twist, which is a big scale cabaret performance with a live band. It's one of our absolute favorites. And again, the drinks here are not ordered individually, but they're brought to your table in between meals. So you'll have a number of cocktails brought out to you during the performance. Both of these shows are very immersive and very large scale, and they are some of the best experiences on board Virgin Voyages. Also, they do come with included alcohol, as I mentioned. The one thing you're going to have to know about these two performances, though, is that they do carry a cover charge. So you are having to pay for this experience in the app, but even though there is a charge for these, I think it's well worth it, and you do get those included alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages as well. If you want more information on any of those shows that I just mentioned, head over to vvinsider.com to read more about them and see what the pricing is like. Then the last alternative night is the big one, and this happens on every single sailing, and that of course is Scarlet Night. Again, you can decide to take Scarlet Night as chilled or as party as you possibly like. There is far too much to talk about with Scarlet Night on this video alone, but what I'm going to ask you to do is head over now to the Scarlet Night guide that I put together last year, which talks all about Scarlet Night, exactly what to expect and exactly how to prepare for it. So thank you so much for coming along on this guide about having the perfect night on Virgin Voyages. I hope I've been helpful. And if I have, make sure that you're subscribing to this channel for more guides like this. And as ever, if you want to help support the work that we do and the videos like this, then do make sure when you're booking your next Virgin Voyage, head over to vvinsider.com and use our booking tool to do that. And then we'll be connected with your booking. You'll get your extra special perks from us, and you've done your bit to support the work that we do. So that's everything from me. Enjoy the Scarlet Night guide, which I'm going to link to just now. But thanks again for watching, and happy sailing.